So let's say that you've been working on improvising and you notice that rhythmically things are getting a bit stale for you. Now, there's something very simple that we can do to accommodate for that and to bring some more interest into your lines, and that is by working on groupings. And in particular, we'll take a look at working on 5-note groupings, and we'll start very simple. Now, some of you may already apply some of these things into your playing. So let's say you want to add something a little bit different using groupings of 5. If you're not used to using groupings of 5, the very first step that you want to do is put the metronome on at a tempo that feels pretty good for you so it doesn't feel rushed. And then just start with one note and maybe center yourself on quarters first. So again, I'm going to go to the key of D. So you have 1, 2, not a big deal, right? And then maybe you do eighth notes, and 2, and 3. So now what you want to do is put in that grouping of 5 into one count. And I'm using one note, and I'm accenting every time that there's a 1, or the downbeat of that grouping of 5. And what you'll notice is that if you're using alternate picking, it's going to be accented on a downbeat, then on an up, and then a down, as far as the picking, not the beat itself, because that's still a downbeat. But the picking is going to be accented on a down at times. Every other one is a down, and then every other one outside of that is the up. So get used to just doing that. And then start to try to implement a scale with that. And start playing up through the scale using that grouping of 5. Now at the end there I started throwing something different. But maybe at first you just play something like this. So what I'm doing is I'm playing in the key of D and I'm going up to the 6th, right? Because I'm playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'm using that note B, the 6, as the end of the loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So once you get more comfortable with that, then what you could start to do is just freely improvise using the notes in the key of D. Or any other key, or if you want to try to have chord progressions, you can, but I'd probably start a little simple at first and then try to progress to something a little bit more intricate. But let's just say that I'm going to play in the key of D. And I'm going to go through and I'm just going to start freely improvising using this 5-note grouping. Now at times, the rhythm probably should be there just for a moment because I've worked on a few other things, and every now and then what happens is these other rhythms start to come into play. But the overall idea is still there. And I just keep playing throughout, really making sure that I'm at times accenting the first note of the grouping of 5 more so. That way I'm locked in. Because what you may find is that as you play through, there are certain patterns that you get locked into, and it feels more comfortable to accent 1 somewhere else than what it would be when you use that grouping of 5. And that's because it's something you worked out before. So outside of the major scales, you could also implement the minor pentatonic, or in this case, we can see it as the major pentatonic. And since we've been playing out of the key of D, why not use D major pentatonic scale? We could also think about it as the B minor, adding that other note in. And let's say that there's particular patterns that you've worked on, where maybe you've played, let's go with something along that line where you're playing in and out meaning more of like an up and down flow throughout. Maybe it's a kind of a pattern that circles back around itself. Well, what you could do, instead of thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, you could think about it as a grouping of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I put it at 70, let's see if I can get this. So that's something that you could work on as well, implementing a pattern that already exists, and then you apply this grouping of 5 to it. And this goes beyond this. You could do it through any sort of practice of using thirds. You could do it using diatonic triads. There's so many applications to this. And I would also suggest that you go ahead and write out some lines to potentially help you to be able to mentally ground yourself around what this concept is. I remember that when I was first starting to apply some of these things, that I would have to, especially over changes, that I would have to go through and really visualize what that looked like, and then practice making sure that I was emphasizing where the actual downbeat was. That way I could apply it. So as you start to work through changes in tunes, especially songs that have a lot of changes to them and you're moving in and out of different tonal centers, then you have to be very aware of how you're going to start or end these phrases. All right, so hopefully you found this helpful. And if anybody you know may find it useful, share it with them. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a thumbs up, check the links down below, leave a comment, let me know if there's anything you would like for me to discuss in a future video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you next time.